Hi, welcome to 0xTalks by OKC Podcast. And here we talk about DeFi, GameFi, Metaverse, crypto, and everything else related to them. This is your host, James. Hello everyone, welcome to 0xTalks by OKC Podcast. And today we have two guests from Safe Haven. One is Tyler Dawson, and he's the Chief Officer of Partnerships. And another one is Andy, the technical guru of Safe Haven. Safe Haven is building DeFi solutions for safely managing, storing, and transferring your crypto or other digital assets like NFTs, passwords, pictures, and documents. Safe Haven's solutions include decentralized inheritance, masternode solutions, wallets, and pooling services. So hi guys, it's nice to have you here in our podcast.
Hey James, thank you for having us. And this is Tyler speaking, the Chief Partnership Officer of Safe Haven. And just to give a little brief background information of myself, I essentially meet with different partnership entities such as NFT projects, exchanges, and even traditional entities to see how we can integrate our DeFi products within their platform so that their business and clients can utilize them and have all the service features that we have to offer. So I'm going to let Andy give a brief introduction about himself. And Andy is the COO of Safe Haven, and he's also the co-founder. So Andy, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. It's the first time we speak to the OKC community, and it's a pleasure to do that, to present Safe Haven in a good way. Safe Haven founded in 2017, and we are hard building since then. It started with the concept of digital inheritance and in a decentralized way, and it was a very difficult one because we use a 3-layer topology. Tyler will speak in detail about later. And also we are starting to go cross-chain now. And we built SafeSwap for it because there are not any atomic swap platform at the moment. So this is a building block that we are needed. Okay, maybe Tyler can go in depth with it.
Great, yeah, thank you, Andy. Just a quick question. Well, Andy, you said that you guys started with a focus on digital inheritance. So, Tyler, maybe you want to talk about that first and see how you guys came up with this idea and why you think that this is important.
Yes, 100%. So like Andy was saying, our flagship product is Inheriti, and it's a decentralized inheritance platform. It allows clients and businesses to go on there and essentially set up an inheritance plan or a personal backup plan. And the way that they do it is they create a Safe ID account, which is basically the way that they log into the platform to where they can set up the plan and even retrieve the plan like the beneficiaries retrieve it after the owner of estate passes away. So once they log into the platform, they go in, they input all of their critical data, such as the mnemonic phrases to recover crypto wallets or emails with passwords for centralized accounts, for example, or any other data that they want their beneficiaries to receive. And what happens is whenever they make that plan, all that data gets encrypted utilizing military grade AES 256 encryption. And then it gets fragmented, split into multiple different plan shares. And depending on how many beneficiaries you have, that's how many plan shares get created. And it's pretty unique because let's use an example. So let's say you had 3 beneficiaries, 1 merge authority, and one set of backup shares on the blockchain. So that would be a total of 2 plan shares per beneficiary and merge authority and backup share. So that'd be 10 plan shares being created, and then the validator share on the blockchain. So that'd be 11 plan shares total with that example on the protocols that are patented in the United States and Europe, soon to be patented in China. And after all those plan shares get stored on the SafeKey devices, which are cold storage devices, which allows you to feel safe against quantum computing once that evolves, because the majority of all plan shares are cold stored. They're also PIN code protected. So whenever the owner of the estate is plugging in each SafeKey device when they make the plan, they have to press the device and input the PIN code that the heir, the beneficiary, is going to have to input when they insert the SafeKey device to unlock their plan shares and merge them with everyone else. So that's essentially how all the plan shares work in a nutshell. Now, how does the unlocking of data work? So Once the owner of the estate passes away, all the beneficiaries will meet with the merge authority. And the merge authority is essentially the person who is in charge of distributing the assets of the estate, because we do not have any control of the data, the assets, or nothing. We just provide the service that allows people to fragment and decentralize their data that can be later combined for their heirs to recover that asset later. So continuing on what I was saying, once the owner of a estate passes away and the beneficiaries get with the merge authority and they plug in their SafeKey devices and they go back to the Inheriti platform to merge shares so that they can recover that data, everybody inserts their PIN code, the plan shares slowly get loaded to the platform. And then once all of them are loaded, the platform recognizes that there's one plan share missing, and that's the validator share on the blockchain. And when it tries to go retrieve that share, it notices that it's locked by a dead man switch. And this is a fail-safe precautionary measure that we put in for the users to make things more secure. And the way that it works is when the owner of the estate is setting up the plan, let's say they want a 7-day dead man switch or a 30-day dead man switch, then in 7 days or 30 days, if they don't respond to the email that is sent to their email account registered with the Safe ID that created the inheritance plan, then that validator share unlocks and all of the beneficiary and merge authority shares can combine with the validator share to retrieve the digital data, the critical data that's passwords, mnemonic phrases that allows them to gain access to all the assets of the estate. So that's how Inheriti works in a nutshell. Now, how are we evolving it and how is it going to be more user-friendly in the upcoming quarters? So right now, we're talking about the SafeKey devices. Everybody has to go to the website. They have to order them. It takes a couple of weeks for them to come in, and then they still have to use them, right? So what we're doing next is launching Inheriti Mobile, which is actually an application that Andy himself built. Andy built the whole Inheriti Mobile app, and it's flawless. It's beautiful. The only thing that we need to do now is link the API codes, like the routing, with the Inheriti Mobile app to the Inheriti Vault and the Inheriti platform itself, like Inheriti.com, so that everything can communicate with one another. Because what's going to happen here is when a user goes to Inheriti.com to set up their Inheriti plan, it's going to ask them, do you want to go with all Inheriti Mobile or do you want to use SafeKey? And then if they say, I want to use Inheriti Mobile, they click that box, then all the plan shares are going to be sent to their personalized Inheriti Vault that's linked to their Safe ID account. So then once they download the mobile application and they tell all their beneficiaries and heirs to download the mobile application, the beneficiaries and heirs will be able to log in with their Safe ID accounts that are whitelisted to claim those plan shares. They'll go in there, they'll claim the plan shares, they'll get them on their phone, and now the decentralized inheritance plan is set. And you can even have backup plan shares on the blockchain in case if any of the beneficiaries lose one of their devices to where they have to get the backup shares put on their device later. So it's going to be a very exciting time for us coming up, and we're going to be doing that in Q3. We're hoping to have everything fully launched for Inheriti Mobile at the latest Q4. But once that happens, it's really going to allow all of our Inheriti integrations that we've been making with the partners and platforms to shine, because then we can do marketing campaigns to where it gets people to make plans within a week or within that day, and people can do it because they don't have to wait for a SafeKey. They could just download the app and make their plan. But that is Inheriti in a nutshell as far as current state, future plans. And the only other thing that I kind of left out with the Inheriti Vault is the Negotium network, which won't come until later, possibly even Q1 of the next year. And the Negotium network is the second half of the Inheriti Vault. And what that means is it's going to allow storage of large data files, such as documents, videos, photos, whereas the HashiCorp version of Inheriti Vault that's already built for Inheriti Mobile only stores small phrases and secrets and passcodes, hence the plan shares and all that, right? So that's going to be nice, because then you're talking about being able to have videos inherited by your heirs with the inheritance plan, so that you can explain to them, hey, you can log into this platform, you can access these farming pools, take the liquidity out and liquidate them and live off of that and use that to get your start if you need help. or having the video to teach them how to further their portfolio and get more diversified and how to enter farming and staking pools and do all that stuff in DeFi, which is really awesome. So that's going to be cool too. But what we're going to be talking about a little bit later in this podcast is migrating Inheriti contracts to other blockchains to where those communities can utilize our platform on that blockchain and have their validator shares stored on the blockchain of their preference. Because currently our Inheriti contracts, like the smart contracts, they're on VeChain, our native chain. And we couldn't go to any other blockchain with our smart contracts, as Andy was saying, until we came up with some type of cross-chain feature. And we didn't want to go cross-chain with bridges or wrapping. We wanted to go atomic swapping. So there was no platform available atomic swap-wise for VeChain. There's some atomic swapping platforms out there for other blockchains and whatnot, but not exactly for VeChain and for the ones that we're targeting, right? So that's why we created SafeSwap, to where we could have that capability to be liquid and move like water and access all blockchains that need our products. And what it also allows us to do is leverage the platform that we built to help other projects, like their tokens and whatnot, go cross-chain with atomic swapping platforms, so they could utilize our services and make it to where they can have their token be changed over to any chain that's supported by SafeSwap. But I think that's a lot all in one setting, like talking. So let me see if you have any questions.
I actually have lots of questions. Well, first of all, the Inheriti, it sounds like you're building something that's really exciting and awesome. And it actually got me thinking about planning my future. Even though I'm young right now, I started thinking, why should I not think about this? It's a plan, and you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So got me really, really excited. However, I'm in this crypto space and I kind of understand how the Web3 system works and all that. However, one of the problems that we have with a lot of services and products on Web3 is that its ability to go mainstream. So how are you guys dealing with this challenge? And what do you think? How can you make it as mainstream or as popular as possible?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we actually have some exciting marketing strategies in discussion right now with a couple of partners relating to Inheriti plans and SafeKey devices. And in a nutshell, what the plan is we're going to be utilizing the community of a large partner that's soon to be announced. They've got over 5 million people within their organization, their community. And we're going to be sending out like newsletters that offer bundles, in a sense, a limited bundle to where they can purchase that bundle and have 2 safe keys with 2 NFTs from the other partner that's going to be doing that marketing campaign with us. And that way, whenever the person who's buying the product that's being promoted to them, they'll be able to make a decentralized inheritance plan for the NFTs that they're receiving. And they'll also get some tokens from that NFTs metaverse, so that they can go into the metaverse with their newly obtained NFTs, start playing to earn, and have them protected all at the same time. Because this community, it's full of a bunch of people that are investors, actually, and they're business owners. So they're predominantly in the traditional sector, looking to get into the non-traditional sector, the crypto sector. And we're going to be educating them on Web3, how the products work, and marketing them multiple different NFT products with our safe keys through that type of marketing strategy. That's what we're setting up. So it's going to be very exciting. It's going to allow us to work with multiple different NFT partners on different levels, to where while we get awareness for our products, we're also getting awareness for them. And I like those type of marketing strategies because it allows you to become stronger while others become stronger. Because in business, it's not always about making your company the strongest. It's best to grow strong with other people, because you build a stronger foundation, in my opinion. But yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, absolutely. You said that partnership is one of the main foundations of growing. And also, you said that you will be conducting lots of marketing campaigns, which is actually awesome. But another thing that you mentioned was the education. As you said, most of the investors who are in traditional investment sector, as they are going into crypto, there are lots of questions in their minds, and they find it very, very confusing. And with a right type of education, it will be easy for you guys to get them on board and to let them use your services and products. And through that way, you could get as many users as possible. And that way you will be growing, and the whole Web3 space will be growing as well. And I like it very much, actually. And going back to the your answer for the first question of mine, you mentioned about Inheriti going cross-chain and migrating to other blockchains. And you said that there were a few challenges on the way. So
the challenges that are going to the challenges that we're primarily going to have for migrating the Inheriti contracts to other chains is getting support for those chains on SafeSwap, because there's a process, there's money involved, like fees that have to be paid to get the chains added to SafeSwap support, because we have to get our devs to make specific contracts and whatnot. But that's the primary barrier. So essentially, if we can get, excuse me. So essentially, if we can get grants from different blockchains that want Inheriti contracts on their blockchains, where their clients can protect their assets and have their validator shares and plans stored on that blockchain, then yeah, we could easily migrate the contracts over to that blockchain. It's just a matter of having the support of our SHA token on that blockchain, to where the actual smart contracts can utilize the SHA token like our protocols require. Because every time someone creates an Inheriti plan, it costs 10,000 SHA tokens, and it's a lifetime plan, so it's good for life. But that's how the protocols work, and it's set up like that because we have a whole node system within Safe Haven, and if you have a node, then you get a percentage of the utility protocols. So for Inheriti plans, 40% of the utility rewards, so roughly 3,998 SHA after gas is taken out from the contract, goes to the utility reward pool for the nodes to share. And, we have 4 different tiers. So Connect Node, Harbor Node, Consensus, and Legacy. Connect Node, they equally share, like all matured nodes that have been matured for 3 months or greater, share 3% of that utility reward pool. And it's the same process for the Harbor, Consensus, and Legacy. Everyone who's matured for 3 months or greater, like that node in that category, shares their percentages. And the percentages are 8% for the Harbor, 32 for the Consensus, and 57 for the Legacy. And yeah, so every product within our product suite actually provides utility rewards to our node holders. SafeSwap, for example, since we're talking about that, because that's a contingency of migrating Inheriti contracts over to the chains. When a new token or a new chain is supported on SafeSwap and the listing fees are paid, from the listing fee, we take $3,000 in fiat and put it in, we inject it in the utility reward pool. And then every swap that occurs with that token on the SafeSwap platform, there's a small additional fee for a swap, like a very minute small fee, like something that you barely even notice. But 45% of that small minute fee per swap goes to the node utility reward pool. Essentially, it'll accumulate, and we'll use that to market buy SHA, and then send that market bought SHA to the node utility reward pool. So yeah, there's a lot of utility rewarding going on within our ecosystem, and that's kind of why we have the SHA utility token as the payment mechanism for all the products and services, and why we need the blockchain to be supported on SafeSwap, to where the SHA token can be swapped from VeChain over to that blockchain, so that the community of OKC can use that service, right?
yeah, absolutely. We'll go back to how to be nodes in a bit, but let's talk a little bit about SafeSwap. Well, of course, it has lots of utilities, but in general, what other benefits or what other advantages does it have compared to other platforms with swap functions such as, multi-chain?
Yeah, great question. So most multi-chain swapping platforms, they're wrapping or bridges in a sense, and it's all linked to contracts that have liquidity backing them and that are susceptible to wormhole attacks, which I don't know if you've seen in the news recently, like in the crypto news, like all the different channels, but there's been quite a few different platforms getting attacked with wormhole attacks and having liquidity fall through. People lose a lot of money. So there's a lot of dangers involved whenever you implement cross-chain technology that's non-atomic swapping, essentially. And that's why we felt the need to build our own atomic swapping platform to where we knew it would be bulletproof and our tokenomics would remain safe and constant as we provide our products to all the different blockchains that we're migrating the contracts to. Because, we didn't really want to rely on someone else's platform or product. And our platform, our protocols, our contracts are all audited. Everything's been validated. So they thoroughly tested to make sure that no sort of wormhole attacks can be incorporated with our atomic swapping contracts. And I don't want to say it's an impossible, because nothing in the world is impossible at the end of the day, I guess, right? But at the same time, with the way that our atomic contracts are set up, it's not susceptible to wormhole attacks. Like, it's not something that's technically possible, right? It's only something that can be done with the bridges and like wrapping contracts in a sense, because with an atomic swap, the only way that you can obtain the tokens on the other blockchain is by locking tokens on another blockchain. That's the only way that you're going to be able to get a hold of those tokens. But yeah, it's a great feature because it's a trustless platform in a sense. You don't have to rely on liquidity backing it, and it's not susceptible to wormhole attacks.
Yeah, you're talking about atomic swapping, and you're saying that it's very secure compared to other swapping functions with smart contracts and bridging and everything like that. So what do you think? Why are other platforms not using atomic swapping?
Just because it's a hard technology to build and it takes a long time to develop. Now that we have our contracts developed, it's more so, like, for example, to add smart contracts to allow a token to use atomic swapping features to go from the chains that are supported on SafeSwap currently, that's not complicated. It doesn't take us long for creating those contracts, and we can create those pretty quickly. Now, as far as adding a complete blockchain, that does take some time. That could take anywhere between a week or 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, depending on the type of blockchain it is. But most blockchains that are EVM compatible, it's not that hard for us to get them compatible with the contracts for SafeSwap. It will take maybe 1-2 weeks, right? So that's basically it at the end of the day. Most people aren't, I hate to say it like that, but most people aren't capable of making the contracts. It took us a very long time to develop them. You can ask our community. A lot of them were upset because it took so long for us to release the platform, because we were saying we were going to release it a couple months before it actually got released, but it took us a little bit longer to button things up because we wanted to make sure that everything was secured to where nothing could get wormhole attacked and all that stuff. But we're very glad that we did, because the platform's successful. We've had over 170 swaps since its launch, which it might not sound like a lot, but you got to understand our products aren't live on other chains yet. So there's no need for our users to go to SafeSwap and swap the token yet. The reason why we actually have a lot of swaps is because of Dorney, actually. Dorney is a partner that we onboarded into our product suite, and they're like a education to earn platform. It's like you learn to earn. That's like their phrase in a sense. It's pretty cool. It's like you learn about an ecosystem or a product, and then you obtain X amount of tokens. Kind of like how Coinbase has their little things where you watch a video and then you get tested and then you get tokens. But anyway, getting back to the atomic swap, and yeah, so we've had a successful launch of the platform. All the contracts are bulletproof. It's white box audited from Red for Sec. So yeah,
Yeah, as you said, security is one of the main topics when it comes to Web3 platforms. And as you're offering your services, you want to make sure that your users, your end users, are fully secure, and there won't be any type of a attack where they could end up losing their money. Because if something like that happens, then you lose the trust of the community that you took so long to build, and it's not worth it. So instead, you could take longer time to develop your smart contracts, and then you can let it go online. And through that way, you can make sure that the community is safe from such attacks. And speaking of security as well, I checked that you guys have distributed virtual hardware security model, VHSM infrastructure. And let's talk a little bit more about that. And let's talk about what benefits does it have to the end users or to other developers.
Yeah. So as far as that goes, we don't really have that fully out right now. We have the safe keys available right now that's capable of storing the plan shares for Inheriti and whatnot, but that's more related to the Negotium network side of things for those types of like data storage and whatnot. But the SafeKey device is really, really revolutionary in a sense. It's very similar to a YubiKey, to where you could use it for passwordless entry to online platforms, but it's also capable of storing the secure share distribution protocol plan shares of Inheriti. It's a SSDP approved device, and it's utilizing our patented technology that's patented in the US and Europe, and China is soon to be patented. We're just waiting on a couple more claims to be approved, and then it should go. And then we have Hong Kong next on the list with some other ones that we're thinking about targeting after that, because we want to make sure that our intellectual property is protected across the globe, because we are an international business. And as we roll out those mass marketing campaigns and we get mass utility with mass revenue rolling in from our products, then we'll be able to start issuing multiple patent requests in any country you can imagine, because then we'll have the funds to be able to just dish out all that, because it adds up whenever you try to get patented and trademarked and all that in all the different regions. Those fees are crazy when you think about it at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really expensive, and you need the funds to make sure that you are on top of your game and you are building and building, and you're not stopping just because you don't have the enough funds. And you also, during your answer, you said something about safe keys. I don't know what that is. What is it?
Okay, yeah. So SafeKey is a cold storage device. It's very similar to a USB drive. I mean, that's essentially what it is, but it's more than a device to store data. Like, you can't just plug it in and store a file from Microsoft Word or nothing like that. It's a device that's FIDO2, U2F, secure share distribution enabled. So it's capable of storing the Inheriti plan shares, and people need to buy these for their inheritance plans. So let's say you had 3 beneficiaries and a merge authority, then you need a total of 4 SafeKey devices if you wanted to use all the SafeKey devices. And each beneficiary and the merge authority would receive their own device, and they'd have their plan shares on there. And when the owner of the state passes away, everybody gets together and they plug in those devices to unlock their plan shares, merge them, and combine it with the validator share after the DMS is bypassed and it gets unlocked. And then they could see all the critical data to get their inheritance plan. That's pretty much what the SafeKey is used for. But like I was saying earlier, it's also got another feature because of the UF2. It's a passwordless entry. Like, are you familiar with YubiKeys, to where it allows you to go to, let's say, Facebook or something, and you just click the device and it logs you in without having to use a password or username, because you already have all that data inputted within the device. Like, we have all that information on our actual website, to where you can see the documentation of how to set up the SafeKey once you buy it, and it'll walk you through how to set up those passwordless information or passwordless features to where you can even set it up with online exchange accounts if you wanted to, in a sense, because that's got emails and passwords too, right? So you just got to go through the walkthrough and go to the sites that you want to enable the passwordless entry to, and then that's pretty much it.
So with the SafeKey, I don't have to remember the passwords, because that's my problem actually, and probably that's a problem for lots of people, because you try to use as many and as different passwords as possible in different websites because you don't want to get hacked just because you're using the same password everywhere. So with the SafeKey, since it's passwordless, I don't have to remember the passwords that I used initially to log into those websites. And with the SafeKey, I will just have to have the key on me, and then it will be just fine to use those websites.
Yeah, that's correct. After it's set up, and the only thing that you technically have to remember as a SafeKey holder is the PIN code that's attached to the plan shares being stored on it for inheritance or personal backup plans. Because remember, that's another layer of security that we have, because technically we have like the cloud, the cold storage, and the blockchain, right? That's why it's a 3-layer topology system. And whenever the plan shares are stored for each beneficiary and the merge authority, you input the PIN code while you insert the device, while you're creating the plan. And then it loads those shares on there and it locks those shares with that PIN code. So when you give that device, that SafeKey device, to your beneficiary, like your son, daughter, or the merge authority, your eldest heir, if you want them to be in charge of distributing the estate, or a lawyer, if you want to hire a lawyer agency, and they input that PIN code when they merge the plan shares to unlock the inheritance after the owner of the estate dies. And so that's really the only password in the sense that the owner of the SafeKey would need, the PIN code to unlock the shares that are attached to their inheritance or personal backup plans. But as far as all the passwords that they essentially program to their SafeKey by going through the website with their SafeKey attached, like you essentially go through Google. It's like there's Google tools to where you can go in and set it all up. And like I was saying, there's the walkthrough on the website, and it'll show you every step. You just plug it in, you go to the website, and then you type in which usernames and passwords you want to basically put on it for which platforms, and then it's pretty simple.
It sounds really, really essential, honestly, because we have seen lots of hacks on personal accounts or the big platforms, such as, the other day I saw a picture where it says the largest attacks or largest hacks that happened in the NFT space was happening both on Discord as well as on Twitter as well, and plus in some other social medias. So with the SafeKey, that will be a lot easier to keep them safe and to keep them out of the hacking and to keep them as safe as possible. So speaking of security and hacks, so lots of those hacks are going on both on Discord and other social platforms. What do you think is the reason for that? And how can people stay as secure as possible?
Well, the primary reason, in my opinion, why people are getting hacked on Discord, Twitter, Telegram is because they get sent this link that tells them, hey, you've won some Bitcoin and you've got to go claim it. Fill out this form to claim your Bitcoin. And it literally asks the person to put in their private keys, like their mnemonic phrases at the bottom of the form. That's how people are getting scammed the most part. And it sounds very simple. Like average people who are in crypto would not fall for that. We'd look at it, laugh, and be like, okay, yeah, good luck trying to get me to put that in this form, right? This non-trusted platform that doesn't have any patented protocols, not Web3, right? So, but that's how they're getting people. They're getting people who don't understand the ecosystem yet. They're just new into it. It's someone who has some money. They want to get into NFTs. They just bought some NFTs, and maybe the NFTs moon, and then people target those people who have those NFTs. And at the end of the day, they're still newcomers, even though they have an NFT that's worth hundreds of thousands, maybe, or millions of dollars, right? So that's what it is at the end of the day with the hacking of through Telegram, Twitter, Discord. And there's also some possibilities to where they send some files that when you open them, it puts a worm on your computer to where it kind of gives them control over it. And if you have your passwords stored in like just a regular file that's not encrypted, like, just on your computer, and they're able to find it, then that's how people get hacked sometimes. There's a whole bunch of different ways. Actually, some projects that come out and launch on DEXs, they launch with tokens that have it set up in their contract to where only one wallet is capable of selling that asset, and all other wallets are only able to buy. So after the wallet buys it, they're not able to sell it or nothing. And that's like a scam thing in a way. And that's like, I guess, not a hack, but it's something that people need to be aware of. So like, don't be going on decentralized exchanges and buying random tokens that you haven't looked into, especially if you haven't read through the smart contract and looked for those type of leaks.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing your own research is what we say to whoever asks questions about crypto and everything. But at the same time, we don't really tell them how to deor. Like, we don't tell them, hey, you need to look out for scams. You should not click on the links that you don't know. And you should not give your password or phrases, seed phrases, or private keys to websites or to random people. You should not do that. And in most cases, we don't tell them what not to do, but instead we tell them, hey, do your own research. So I think one of the main and important things that we should be doing is educating people by giving them as much examples as possible about potential scams or hacks or whatever. And according to that, give them the lessons that, hey, if something like this happens, then you should not be doing this. Instead, you should be doing that and that and that. Through education, we are only able to give them the knowledge of how to protect themselves. Because let's be honest, even if they use a certain, let's say, top security featured website to buy their tokens or to keep their tokens safe, if they don't know why they should not click on those different scam links or whatever, they're not going to be safe. In the end, they'll be losing money, and it'll be just bad reputation for crypto space and for Web3. And I certainly believe that by doing their own research and by learning the lessons that others teach them, then they'll be able to be safe and to keep their assets safe. Now, let's talk a little bit about the current crypto space. And bear market, as I keep saying, it's one of the best times for developers because you are safe from all those distractions that's going on or all those trends that pop up every day. So you keep your head down and you focus on what you think matters. So I just wanted to get some of your idea about this bear market and what do you think the future holds?
Yeah, 100%. During the bear market, as you said, all projects need to primarily focus on building and staying strong in building and not look at the markets that are fluctuating and let that stress them out, nothing like that. And typically, I mean, that's exactly what we do at Safe Haven. We always keep our heads down, we build, and pretty soon we're ready to come out and just show everybody what we've been building and just have some mass adoption. But as far as the bear market goes, with other things that we've been doing is setting up an NFT sector for our community. So we're going to have an NFT gaming sector come out that allows the community to use their NFTs from the shamanic oracles and earn the tokens to upgrade their NFTs and make them better, participate in play to earn tournaments and stuff like that, like as far as the play to earn tournaments and whatnot. But it's something that we're building towards, and it's going to enable the economy of the SHA tokenomics to be more stable too, because we're going to be adding staking and farming pools for that NFT ecosystem. In other words, if people want to obtain certain NFTs for that ecosystem, whether it's a rare character or upgradable NFT that allows that character to upgrade, then they have to lock X amount of SHA tokens for X amount of days, kind of like a stake, and then they unlock that NFT. And right now, currently, we have over 50% of the available circulating SHA locked in nodes. So whenever you start adding in more locking protocols, just like the fixed staking program that actually went live yesterday, and it's currently live still, so people can go on the SafeNode application, which is also an app that Andy built, and go stake some SHA to earn a fixed percentage, like a fixed interest percentage on the month. People who don't have a node, they can enter the non-node staking pool. Everybody who has a node, they can enter a staking pool that allows them to stake more SHA for a greater return, greater interest rates. But yeah, I mean, you pretty much said it best. You have to just keep building during the bear market. You can't let other things distract you. And that's exactly what we've been doing. Everybody within our team has been focusing on their sectors and what they're supposed to be doing. And our technical department has been working on a really, really big metaverse project that we can't really talk about too much right now, but hopefully around Q4, we'll be able to get into more information about that. And it's going to provide utility rewards to our node holders as well. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty exciting topic.
Awesome. You got to keep us updated on that, because it sounds like it's something huge and everyone should know about that. So going back to the question, I just want to ask Andy's idea as well.
Yeah, during the bear market, as I always say, only projects with strong fundamentals will survive. And why is that? Because you need to keep in mind that projects need to have real use cases. If you build something that is not being used, or just an ID that is not attractive enough anymore, then that will fail, in my opinion. And also, if you have a real use case project, you need to make sure, if it's innovative, that it is patented. And that's why we patented Inheriti as well. So we have all the basics that we need to survive the bear market. We already survived one a few years ago. So yeah, this will be the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said it right. My last question to you guys is, where do you see Safe Haven in 2024 or 2023?
Yeah, so I see Safe Haven being a global household name, everybody utilizing Inheriti for decentralized inheritance services. And I see us offering atomic swapping protocols to over 50 different projects when we're talking about 2023, because that's 6 months from now. And that's a long time. We've got a lot of projects that are already interested in getting support for SafeSwap that we're talking to. And it's just going to increase from there, because as they say, word of mouth increases. And once people recognize a service that's good and they want to use it, they're just going to, reach out, and then we'll implement it for them as well. So I see us being a powerhouse in crypto, DeFi, providing those decentralized inheritance tools for everybody and any blockchain that wants to have the contracts migrated over there, that can provide grant opportunities for us to expedite the process. And for those that don't have grant opportunities, it's not that we're going to close them out, but it's not going to be on our high priority, because we have to focus on the ones that we can get grant opportunities for first, where we could hire additional devs and scale, because we can't overpressure our current staff, because we're currently working on developing products. So if we want to scale and add our services to other chains, we're going to need to hire additional developers to handle that sector in a sense. That way we don't spread ourselves too thin, because you got to treat it like a real organization. As you provide services to a new sector, you need to bring in new employees to manage that sector, to where everybody's flowing smoothly and there's nothing missed. But yeah, that's kind of where I see us in 2023, being a powerhouse for providing DeFi inheritance and atomic swapping services.
Awesome. And I hope to see that one day next year. And I hope that once you guys become the powerhouse, we'll get to have a chance to sit again and talk more about how you guys came to be such a huge powerhouse, and then we'll be able to celebrate your success. And if there is any developers that's listening to our podcast, you guys heard Tyler. So they have all of their doors open. And if you think that you'll be able to add some value to the company, I think you're able to get in touch with them and see where it goes.
Yes, 100%. Primarily Solidity developers. People who have a lot of experience with Solidity-based smart contracts. And additionally, I wanted to touch on one last thing, if you don't mind, James.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have another product that everybody's been aware of in the community, but we haven't really talked about or marketed much throughout the last year. And that is called Fund Request. This is a product that we acquired a little over a year ago. And it's essentially an open source platform that allows a company or a user to outsource smart contract or code dev work via GitHub to other people for a certain amount of cryptocurrency as payment. That's basically what it is in a nutshell. If you need a smart contract finished because your team can't finish the last couple 100 lines because it's just too difficult for you, or you just don't have enough time because you have to switch gears and start creating the framework for the next smart contract, right? Then you could go to the platform once it's live, set up the bid or the request in a sense. You would set up the request, and then all developers who know about the platform and who are hungry for work, looking for work, who have extra time, go put a bid on that request. Whoever wins with the bid, like, the best bid out of all of them, will get the contract to do the request, and then they'll complete the contract via GitHub. Now the smart contract's completed. The company was able to complete their work and get it done at a quick speed, so it allows them to scale at more rapid speeds as well for evolution of their product suite. So Fund Request is a very exciting product whenever you look at it as a whole. And that is another one that I could see us migrating contracts over to OKC if we have some sort of type of grant opportunities available there, because I know that y'all are trying to do a lot of different building on your blockchain with development. And I think that would be an astounding product for y'all's suite, to where you could open up the capability to allow everybody building on your chains to outsource development needs that they can't do themselves.
Awesome. And I think there is something that we can do about that. And when do you think this platform will be live?
Yeah, so the platform is actually ready to go live in a sense. Like, we tested all the contracts for the requesting and whatnot on the test net many, many months ago with test tokens, and everything worked. And we were just waiting for SafeSwap to go live to where Shah can go over to Binance Smart Chain, because the product was being it's primarily going to launch on the Binance Smart Chain first, and then we're going to migrate it to other chains that request that product platform for their community of developers to have access to it for their blockchain building. And as far as how long it's going to take, it's just a matter of being able to get a grant to hire an additional dev that can migrate those contracts over to that blockchain. That's all it is, really. Matter of maybe a month or 2 months to get everything fully worked out, and then maybe another couple of weeks for auditing on that chain, or maybe a month for auditing. Like, that's why I hate throwing dates out there, man. Because it's like we can get the contracts migrated in, let's say, a month and a half, but then we want to get everything audited and make sure that everything's spick and span just as good as it was with the first setup, and that takes time sometimes. Sometimes an audit can take up to 2 months, 3 months. I mean, sometimes they go like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but that's why I don't like giving hard dates. But if I had to give an estimate, it'd probably take in between 1 to 3 months if we had the proper funding to get the platform ready on OKC.
Awesome. Yeah, you said it right. Like, if you put a hard date on that, and if there's any hiccup or if something takes longer time, then you'll be feeling like, hey, I said that it would be ready in 1 month, but it's taking 2 months. And not only you, but the community that's waiting for that, they'll be concerned. They'll be like, why is this taking so long? But in the end, I hope that OKC will be able to help you guys, and I hope that you guys will deploy on OKC, and we'll see some good partnership going on. Thank you for your time, guys. This was a great conversation, and it was a pleasure to have you guys here and talk about Safe Haven and your features and utilities and all that. And again, I hope to see you guys and talk to you guys next year. and celebrate your success together.
Thank you so much for having us on here today, James.
To learn more about Safe Haven, check out the show notes of this episode. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Peace.